The alien warship hovered silently in Earth's orbit, dark like a shadow against the stars. It was huge, larger than any human city. Its sharp black edges reflected no light, and it made no sound. But inside, it buzzed with life. Alien soldiers moved quickly through metal halls, preparing for invasion. Lights blinked on the walls. Machines hummed. The ship was ready for war. Commander Zorak stood at the center of the command bridge. He was tall, with silver skin and 4 long arms. His yellow eyes glowed as he stared down at the blue planet below. Earth, a small world, a weak world, a world that didn't know what was coming. Zorak's lips curled into a smile. "They still use fuel to fly," he said to his officers. "They still use bullets. They are like insects playing with fire." His voice was deep and cold. The officers laughed with him. They were proud. They were the strongest army in the galaxy. They had crushed hundreds of worlds. This one would be easy. "They will bow," Zorak said, "or they will burn." His second-in-command, a sharp-faced alien named Creel, stepped forward. "Commander, Earth's leaders are trying to talk." They sent another message. Zorak waved a hand. "Play it. Let's hear their begging." The screen in front of him flickered. A human face appeared, a man in a dark suit, eyes tired but serious. He spoke slowly. "To the alien fleet above, we are not your enemy. We ask for peace. We will not attack if you leave peacefully." Zorak laughed again. "Peace? They think they can talk to us like equals. Fools." He crushed the message with a swipe of his hand. "No more talk. Begin the attack in 1 hour." On Earth, people were afraid. Every news channel showed the sky filled with black shapes, ships so big they covered the sun in some places. Governments ordered evacuations. Planes filled with families tried to flee the cities. Soldiers ran through streets, preparing for a fight they didn't understand. Children cried. Mothers held them close. People prayed. Nothing worked against the alien ships. Jets were shot down. Missiles exploded harmlessly against alien shields. Earth's greatest weapons meant nothing to them. In a deep underground base hidden beneath the Rocky Mountains, a group of scientists worked in silence. The room was filled with machines, wires, and blinking lights. In the center was a strange metal object, round, ancient, humming softly like it was alive. "Is it ready?" asked Dr. Lin, a small woman with sharp eyes and shaking hands. "We don't know," said another scientist, Dr. Hayes. "It's not human tech. It's older than anything we've seen. It might not work." "It has to," Lin said. "It's our only chance." They called it Project Gaia. No one outside the base knew what it was. Even the people working on it didn't fully understand it. It had been found decades ago, buried under ice in Antarctica. It looked like a machine, but it was made of materials Earth had never seen. And it wasn't dead. It reacted to energy. It responded to sound. It seemed aware. The scientists believed it came from an ancient alien race, one that had visited Earth long ago and left it behind. They had been trying for years to activate it. But now, with the planet under attack, they had no time left. "Start the power sequence," Lin said. The machine in the center of the room glowed softly. The floor shook. The lights flickered. Something deep inside the Earth groaned like it was waking up from a long sleep. Back in space, Zorak watched the planet with cold eyes. "Fire the first strike," he said. Energy beams lit up the sky. They came down like lightning, burning through the clouds and striking cities below. Skyscrapers melted. Roads cracked. Fire spread across the land. People ran, screamed, fell. The attack had begun. But something strange started to happen. Zorak's ships in orbit began to shake. Instruments blinked and gave strange readings. Some ships drifted off course. Others lost power for a few seconds. "What is this?" Zorak shouted. "Report." "Unknown interference," said Creel. "The planet is reacting." Zorek's eyes narrowed. Reacting. What do you mean? On the ground, earthquakes shook the land. But not near human cities. They hit the alien landing zones. Forests caught fire, but the flames didn't spread to human homes. Storms formed over alien bases. Lightning struck their machines with perfect aim. Dr. Lin stared at the machine in the base. It's working, she whispered. Earth is listening. The machine pulsed with energy. The ground around the base warmed. The air changed. It was like the planet had become aware of what was happening, and was angry. Zorak saw footage from the surface. His soldiers were being pulled into the ground. Sand swallowed vehicles in the desert. In the jungles, trees moved like they were alive, crushing alien troops. This is not possible, he said. This planet is not alive. But Earth didn't care what he believed. A deep sound echoed through the oceans, low and powerful. Waves rose high. Tides shifted. Ships near the water were dragged down by unseen forces. The alien fleet tried to fire again, but many weapons failed. Some exploded. Energy systems shorted out. Gravity fields twisted in strange ways. On the bridge, Creel turned to the commander. This is not a normal world. Something is wrong. Zorak slammed a fist on the control panel. They must have help. Another alien race. No human can do this. They are alone, Creel said, but Earth is not. Zorak felt fear for the first time in years. Fear of something he didn't understand. This wasn't a war anymore. It was something else. He stared at the planet and saw it differently now. Not as a weak, small world, but as something old, powerful, watching. He spoke in a low voice. This is not a planet. It's a weapon. Down below, Dr. Lin looked at the growing energy inside the Gaia machine. She didn't know what would happen next. Maybe it would save them. Maybe it would destroy everything. But she believed one thing. Earth was fighting back. And it wasn't finished yet. The sky over Earth was no longer blue. Thick black clouds covered the land, hiding the sun. Smoke rose from the burning cities, and ash fell like snow. But deep underground, where the alien eyes could not see, something was changing. In the hidden base beneath the Rocky Mountains, Project Gaia had awakened. The strange machine from deep beneath the ice was glowing with a soft green light. Wires shook. The ground trembled. The temperature inside the base kept rising. Still, the scientists did not stop. Dr. Lin stood near the control board, her hands cold and shaking. Her heart was pounding, but her eyes were calm. Keep the power stable, she said. Gaia is reacting, but we must not push too hard. It's drawing energy from the Earth itself, said Dr. Hayes. From heat, water, even magnetic fields. We aren't powering it anymore. It's powering us. Nobody in the room spoke for a moment. They all stared at the pulsing machine, which now looked alive. Not like a robot or a computer, but something ancient and powerful, something they had never truly understood. One young scientist whispered, "Do you think it knows we're here?" Before anyone could answer, the floor shook again. The lights flickered, but not from damage. This was something else. Outside the base, snow was melting fast. Rivers changed direction. Trees leaned toward the sky like they were listening. On the alien mothership, Commander Zorak slammed his fist against the metal wall. "Why are my soldiers not reporting?" he shouted. "Why is every landing zone falling silent?" Creel looked down at his screen, his hands shaking. "We've lost 47 ships on the ground. No enemy fire. No weapons. They just disappeared." Zorak's yellow eyes narrowed. "What do you mean disappeared? Where are the bodies? The machines?" Creel shook his head. "There are no remains, no heat signatures, no battle damage. It's like the land swallowed them." The commander stared at the planet below. It looked calm from space. Green, blue, quiet. But now he knew that silence was a lie. He barked an order. "Send in the Terrashock units. dig into the surface, find what they're hiding. More ships dropped from the sky. They landed across mountains, forests, deserts. Huge alien machines with claws and drills tore into the earth, ripping up trees and dirt, searching for secret weapons. At first, everything seemed quiet. But then the ground began to fight back. In the forests of Canada, a team of aliens fired heat beams at the trees. The trees didn't burn. Instead, thick roots shot from the ground and wrapped around the machines, crushing them like paper. Screams came over the radio, then silence. In the deserts of Australia, drills broke through ancient stone. But what came out wasn't water or oil. It was black dust, fine, soft, and deadly. It entered the machines and shorted them from the inside. Aliens ran, coughing, falling. The dust was alive. Even in the oceans, things began to move. Deep beneath the waves, something large turned in its sleep. The water pulled back from the shores. Fish swam in strange patterns. Birds flew away from the coasts. Whales screamed. Back at the human base, a satellite picked up strange sounds from the deep sea. Dr. Lin listened closely, her face pale. "It's a warning," she said. "The planet is speaking." Project Gaia pulsed brighter. Its light filled the room. The metal began to shift, forming new shapes. Symbols appeared, glowing softly. "It's giving us something," said Hayes. "Instructions. Codes." "What for?" Lin asked. "To control Earth," he said, almost afraid. "To talk to it." She stared at the machine. "Not control," she whispered. "To ask." On the alien ship, Zorak watched in horror as more troops vanished. One base was hit by a sudden blizzard, even though it was summer. Another was struck by bolts of lightning that came down in a perfect circle. "This isn't war," Creel said. "This is something else." Zorak turned on him, rage in his eyes. "Are you afraid of this world?" "Yes," Creel said. "And you should be too." Zorak looked away. His hands clenched. He had mocked this world, called it weak. But now it was acting like a god. He ordered a retreat from the ground. "Pull back the soldiers. Focus fire from orbit. Burn it all if you have to." The alien fleet aimed giant weapons at the surface. Red lights blinked. Energy began to build. But then something happened no one expected. The weapons failed. Not just one or two, but all of them. One by one, they shut down. Screens went black. Power vanished. Some ships began to drift. Alarms rang out. "Gravitational fields are twisting," Creel shouted. "Something is changing the planet's pull." Zorak watched as a ship was slowly dragged toward the Earth. It tried to fire its engines. Nothing worked. It tilted, spun, and fell. The screen went dark before it hit. "Impossible," Zorak whispered. Back in the base, Dr. Lin stood at the center of a storm of information. Gaia was showing them things, old maps, lost energy points, secret places deep inside the Earth. It was giving them tools, warnings, and something else. Hope. "We need to send a message," Lin said, "to the people, to the world. They need to know Earth is fighting with them." Hayes nodded. "And to the aliens." Lin looked at the sky. "They need to know Earth doesn't forgive." Above them, clouds twisted into strange shapes. Lightning danced without thunder. Mountains glowed softly in the dark. Somewhere in the heart of a volcano, fire moved against gravity. The Earth was not silent anymore. Zorak stood alone on the bridge, watching his ships fail, watching his army disappear. His pride was gone. His fear was real. He looked down at the planet that he once called weak. And for the first time, he felt what the humans must have felt when they saw his ships in the sky. Helplessness. A cold silence spread across the alien fleet. Ships that once lit the sky with power now floated like dead things in the dark. One by one, Zorak's mighty weapons had fallen. No fire, no beams, no more control. The machines they trusted had betrayed them, not because of human strength, but because the planet itself had turned against them. Commander Zorak stood frozen in the center of the bridge. All around him, officers worked in panic. Screens blinked with error signs. Lights flickered. Some crew members yelled orders. Others whispered in fear. But Zorak said nothing. His face was tight. His four hands were clenched. He had never lost a war. He had never seen a world fight like this. Creel stepped forward carefully. "Commander, if we don't act now, we won't be able to leave orbit." Zorak turned his glowing yellow eyes to him. "Leave? This world dares to attack us, and you want to run." Creel looked down. "This world is not like the others. There is something ancient here, something we don't understand." Zorak walked to the window. Earth spun below them, calm and beautiful. It looked peaceful, but it wasn't. Not anymore. "We have ruled over 100 worlds," Zorak said. "Our weapons have turned cities to ash. But this planet is not dying. It's growing stronger." Below, in the secret human base, Project Gaia hummed like a heartbeat. Dr. Lin and her team were working nonstop. They hadn't slept in over 30 hours. Their faces were pale, eyes wide with fear and wonder. The machine was now fully active, glowing bright green, casting strange patterns across the walls. "It's not just reacting anymore," said Hayes. "It's guiding us." Screens showed maps of Earth. Not political borders, but energy lines. Paths running deep under the ground, through mountains, forests, oceans. These were not man-made. They were old, ancient. Dr. Lin pointed at a bright dot in South America. "This is a node. Gaia wants us to send energy there. It's like turning on a switch." "But for what?" someone asked. Lin didn't know the answer, but something deep inside her whispered, "Protection. Defense." Teams across the world began to act. Humans who had survived the first wave of attacks were now helping in strange ways. Farmers in Peru followed instructions sent from Gaia, digging at the edge of a mountain. Engineers in Japan repaired old power lines. Only this time, the power they used didn't come from a reactor, but from the ground itself. Earth was waking up fully now. The storms grew sharper. The winds moved with purpose. Volcanoes lit up with strange, cold fire, not to destroy, but to warn. In the Atlantic Ocean, a wave rose taller than any ship. An alien cruiser sat below it, unaware. The wave curled and dropped in silence. The ship never rose again. Zorak watched this from space. His face grew pale. "Begin full retreat," he said. "Get us out of this system." But it was too late. Another ship lost power, then another. Engines refused to start. Fuel vanished from tanks like it had been drained by the Earth itself. Gravity fields flipped. One ship spun out of control, crashing into another. Panic filled the fleet. "This world is not just alive," Creel whispered. "It is angry." Zorak didn't answer. For the first time in his life, he didn't have a plan. Back in the underground base, Project Gaia opened a communication line. Not with sound, but with thought. A strange symbol appeared on every screen, a circle with a dot in the center. Lynn stared at it. "It's sending a message," she said, "to everyone." People around the world saw it, on phones, computers, TVs, even in dreams. A voice came with it. Not loud, not in any human language, but everyone understood it the same way. "You are not alone. You are not weak. Stand." Around the world, survivors began to rise. In New York, firefighters pulled survivors from ruins and formed rescue teams. In Kenya, villagers shared food and water with strangers. In Russia, soldiers and civilians stood side by side, building defenses not against humans, but against the sky. For the first time in human history, the planet was not divided. It was united. Zorak felt this change too. He saw it in the way humans stopped running. In how they looked up, not in fear, but in defiance. "This world was meant to be easy," he said bitterly. but they have become something else. Creel nodded. They are no longer just humans. They are Earth. The power of Gaia reached higher. Strange lights filled the sky, auroras in places where they had never been. Magnetic fields twisted around cities, blocking alien scanners. Every attack Zorak sent now missed. Weapons aimed at Earth fell apart before firing. In the base, Lynn stepped close to Gaia. "We are ready," she whispered. The machine responded by opening a panel, revealing a small silver sphere. It floated gently. Then it moved upward, through the ceiling, through stone, through air. It hovered above the base, spinning quietly. Then, without warning, it shot into the sky. Alien ships turned their cameras to it. The sphere rose slowly at first. Then it exploded, not in fire, but in light. A wave spread from it across the planet's upper atmosphere. One by one, the alien ships stopped moving. Not destroyed. Held. Like flies caught in a web. Zorak screamed. What have they done? Gaia had built a trap, not to kill, but to protect. Every ship now floated, powerless, unable to move. Their systems frozen. Not by damage, but by something deeper. Something built into the planet long before Zorak was born. A failsafe. Zorak fell to his knees. Creel stood over him. "It is over, Commander." "No," Zorak said. "No, not like this." But it was. Back on Earth, the people saw the ship stop, saw them frozen in the sky like statues, and for the first time since the invasion began, they felt hope. They had survived. Not by force, not by weapons, but because their planet had chosen to fight for them. And it wasn't done yet. Commander Zorak sat in silence. His eyes stared at the frozen screens around him. Outside the window of his command ship, the stars no longer moved. His fleet was still, trapped in place like insects caught in thick glass. They could see Earth below, beautiful and glowing, but they could not reach it, nor escape from it. His voice was weak now. How did this happen? Creel stood beside him, quiet, respectful. But his voice was steady. "You underestimated them, Commander. You thought the humans were alone. But their planet is alive. It protects them." Zorak slammed a fist on the table. "Planets are rocks, dirt and water. They do not think. They do not fight. Earth does," Creel said softly. "It remembers. And it doesn't forgive." Down below, in the secret mountain base, Project Gaia continued to glow with a deep green light. Its hum now matched the Earth's pulse. Dr. Lin watched the machine closely. It had become more than a tool. It was now a bridge between Earth and its people. Every time it pulsed, she could feel the power moving through her bones. Reports came from around the world. More energy lines had awakened. Mountains whispered. Deserts lit up under the stars. Giant trees moved as if breathing. The planet was no longer passive. It had joined the war. Hayes looked at the global map, blinking in disbelief. The alien fleet is frozen. No movement, no power, nothing. "They are not dead," Lin said, "but they are no longer in control." Outside, the sky changed again. Lights danced over the continents. The northern lights spread far beyond the poles. In South America, a stone temple long buried under dirt cracked open. Inside it, walls carved with circles and stars began to glow. Nobody had touched them for 1,000 years, but now the symbols shone like they were just written. Something old had returned, and it wasn't just the Earth that was responding. In the alien ship, panic grew. The crew could not move the engines. Their food systems failed. Oxygen began to thin. The technology that once ruled over worlds now lay silent. The ship was alive, but blind, deaf, and mute. "We are losing air," one officer said. "Reboot the core," another shouted. Creel turned to Zorak. "Commander, we must ask for peace. It is the only way." Zorak's eyes burned. "You think I will kneel to a species like them?" "No," Creel replied. "You will kneel to the planet itself." Zorak said nothing. His pride was broken, but not gone. Then the ship shook, not from a weapon, not from damage, but from a voice. A sound filled the air, not loud, not angry, just steady and deep. It came through metal, through walls, through skin and bone. A single voice that spoke in every language at once. You have hurt my children. You have poisoned my sky. You have scorched my skin. You have broken the silence of my oceans. Now you will listen. Zorak gasped. His crew fell silent. The lights dimmed. The sound stopped, but its message had been received. They were no longer above this world. They were inside its judgment. On Earth, people heard the voice too. In their dreams, in their hearts. Some cried. Others stood up, feeling taller than before. The Earth wasn't just land. It was family. And it had finally spoken. Dr. Lin wiped her eyes. It's speaking to them, and to us. What is it saying now? Hayes asked. It's waiting, she said, for us to decide. Around the globe, leaders gathered, not in big buildings, not in fancy offices. They sat in small rooms, in bunkers, in tents. Soldiers, teachers, farmers, workers, no longer divided by flags or money. They were now one species, and Earth had given them power. Gaia showed them options. They could destroy the alien fleet now, wipe it from the sky. The planet could crush every ship like paper, but something held them back. A choice. Lin stood before the glowing machine. We could kill them, but what would that make us? No one answered. She looked at the map. The Earth didn't destroy them. It stopped them, gave them a chance to see. Maybe. It wants us to do the same. Hayes frowned. What if they attack again? Lin shook her head. They can't. Not while Earth is watching. Above them, Zorak finally spoke. He opened a channel, not to attack, but to beg. A shaky image appeared on the human screens. His face was tired. His voice had lost its edge. I came here to conquer, he said. I saw your people as weak. I called you animals, crawling on the surface of a dead stone. But I was wrong. Your world is more alive than anything I've ever seen. It is a force I do not understand. He paused, then added, I surrender. The words rang through every speaker, every radio, every satellite. All around the world, people listened. Zorak continued, we do not ask for mercy. We ask to live. We will leave and never return, if you allow it. Dr. Lin looked at Gaia. The machine was quiet now, calm. She turned to the team. It's up to us. After hours of talk, the message was sent. You will go. Leave the sky clean. If you return, Earth will stop you again. This is your only warning. Zorak accepted. One by one, the ships were released. Their engines flickered back to life. The fleet turned away from Earth, slow and quiet, like a thief leaving in shame. No weapons, no pride, just fear and respect. As they disappeared into the stars, the sky grew still again. Project Gaia dimmed. The green light faded. The hum quieted. The machine had done its job. In cities, survivors began to rebuild. Not just buildings, but hope. People who once feared the sky now smiled at it. They had seen their planet rise like a guardian, and they had stood with it. Earth had changed, and so had humanity. The Earth was quiet again. The alien fleet, once poised to destroy, had vanished into the stars, leaving only silence behind. The people of Earth watched the sky with a mix of awe and relief. It had all happened so quickly. One moment they were fighting for survival, and the next, the battle was over. Dr. Lin stood by the window of the underground base, gazing out at the horizon. The sun had risen, shining brighter than it ever had before. She could feel the warmth on her skin, a reminder that they had won, not just through weapons, but through unity, through understanding that they were not alone in the universe, not because of armies or machines, but because of the Earth itself. "I still can't believe it," Hayes said, stepping up beside her. "The Earth, it fought for us." Lynn nodded slowly. "I think it was always fighting for us. We just had to realize it." For days, the world had come together. People who had once been enemies were now working side by side. The massive destruction left by the invasion was beginning to heal. Humanity had faced its darkest hour. And in that hour, it had learned something priceless. They were never truly alone. The Earth had always been with them. It had only needed them to wake up. Across the world, the changes were visible. Cities were being rebuilt, not just with new buildings, but with new connections. People who had feared the unknown now embraced it. They shared stories of what they had witnessed, how the Earth had fought back, how Gaia had given them the power to stand tall. But there was still much to be done. The aliens were gone, but their presence had left scars. The atmosphere had changed. The oceans were restless, and the land seemed to carry a deep, ancient energy now. Some cities still smoldered from the destruction. Yet in all of that, there was something else, something bright, a hope that hadn't existed before, a belief that the Earth, in all its power, would never let them fall again. Lynn and Hayes walked outside into the fresh air, the smell of rain mixed with the earthy scent of new growth. They didn't speak at first, simply breathing in the moment, understanding how much had been lost and how much had been gained. "We were wrong," Hayes finally said, looking out at the horizon. "We thought we were just human, just small, weak." Lynn smiled softly. "We were never small. We were part of something much bigger." The wind began to pick up, and Lynn's hair blew gently across her face. She looked at Gaia in the distance, the machine that had connected them all. It was no longer a thing of cold steel and wires. It was part of the Earth itself, a symbol of their unity. The trees around it swayed, as if greeting her. "We owe the Earth our lives," she said quietly. "And the future." Hayes glanced at her. "What now? How do we protect this?" Lynn turned to him, her eyes shining with a quiet confidence. "We protect it by listening, by understanding. The Earth has already shown us the way. It's up to us to walk with it." The world was changing, yes, but it wasn't just the planet. It was humanity, too. The invasion had shown them their strength, not in fighting, but in standing together, in realizing that the Earth wasn't just a place to live, but a partner, a force that had always been with them, waiting for them to open their eyes. Above, the stars blinked softly in the night sky. The alien ships were gone, but something remained, something even greater than technology or weapons. It was hope, and the belief that no matter what came next, the Earth would always be there to guide them. In the distance, the faint sound of birds chirping filled the air. It was the sound of a new beginning, a beginning where humanity and Earth would stand together, not as two separate things, but as one living, breathing force, stronger than anything in the universe. And for the first time, humanity truly understood what it meant to be part of something greater than themselves. The Earth had shown them the way. Now it was their turn to follow.